Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. These art lessons are taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I hope you have fun, create imaginative works of art, and make sure you share them with someone because, after all, the visual arts are meant to be seen.
Alrighty, HOB artists, here we go. Let's start drawing our owl. Now, I have a full-size piece of paper here, and I'm going to try and draw my owl as big as my paper. I'm going to start with something called sketching. Sketching is a style of drawing where I press very softly with my pencil. It's almost like I'm barely touching my paper with my pencil, making very soft and light marks. And I'm going to make two shapes with my pencil, and they're actually both the same shape. I'm going to make two circles, a larger circle that becomes the tummy of my owl, and a smaller circle that becomes its head. Okay, so now we're going to switch shapes. Now we're going to use little triangles, two of them again, at the top this time. But, HOB artists, these are not ears. Instead, they're actually feathers that stick up on the great horned owl. So they're not ears, we need to know that they are feathers. Alright, well I didn't really like that first little great horned owl feather on the left, so I'm going to adjust that and make it better. That's what I love about art. If you don't like it, you can always erase it and try again. Okay, so now we're going to go over the edges, and I'm pressing harder this time. I'm all done sketching. I think my lines are great just how they are. I'm going to press a little harder and just go over the edges of my lines. Now I did that because I want to cut next, and when I'm cutting, I need to remember to stay on the outside edge of my owl. Could you imagine what would happen if I cut across right now, across to the other side? My poor little owl's head would become disconnected from his body. But in art, that's not a huge problem. If you do that by accident, no big deal. You can either glue or tape the pieces back together. I just always make sure that I put the tape on the back of my owl so that whenever people are looking at my piece of artwork, they don't see that big piece of tape holding the two pieces together. Okay, so now to prepare for the next part, I'm going to flip my owl over because there's some messy pencil lines on this side. So I'm going to use the other side, which was the back, but will now be the front as the front of my owl. Okay, so now I'm going to find a supply where I can make feathery marks. You can use a crayon, a marker, and I'm going to use something called a paint stick. If you don't have these or if you've never heard of them, they're a really cool way to create a painting with very little mess, and they dry really fast. So I'm using a paint stick, but you can use a crayon or a marker, and look at the kind of lines that I'm making. They're sort of short and choppy, they're not even, they're not in perfect rows. Sometimes they overlap, that means one touches another one, and I'm putting them everywhere where my little guy would have feathers, which is, pretty much everywhere, except on his eyes or on his beak. Remember, those triangles at the top are feathers, so make sure you put your feathery marks all the way up, just not on his eyes and not on his beak. Alrighty, my little HOB artists, so our owl is technically done for right now. Since I used those paint sticks, I'm going to let mine dry, and however you did yours, put them in a safe spot, and next week at the same time, on Monday, I will post the next step in this project. So our owl is not done. He's still in progress. Stay tuned, and I'll be back with the next steps next week. Okay, until next time, I'll see ya at the Heart of a Viking.